early.
It is very early. Okay, you just said something that is so prescient and important. I think that we have to reshare it. It
It's
is
just
it is very strange.
very strange to be talking about vampires and Stephen King at 9 a.m. This is definitely the earliest we've ever recorded, I feel like, for sure.
This has got to be the earliest that we've recorded. So
Yeah.
here's where we are. First of all, this is your reminder, everyone, how much I love you as an audience, and
Oh,
you, Ashley, to spend time with you, because I could be canoodling with my wife right now.
it's
I
true.
could be canoodling with my wife, who I have not seen in
For a
12
week. Yeah,
days.
for over a week. Yeah, this is sacrifice.
It's the longest we've ever been apart
Oh.
since we were actually dating. I think there was a longer period of time when we were seeing each other, but
Well, Brett and Ashley had to do long distance like right after we started dating. We did long distance for about what, 5 months. We'd only been dating like 2 months, and I had had very bad luck with partners that were long distance in the previous. So it was very stressful
situations.
situations,
Um,
but
Ashley, it turns out I'm addicted to this woman. I am
I
like
love it. That's perfect.
in bad need of being near her. Okay, before we begin any of that, actually, though, we have to have a pre-chat before we talk about vampires and Stephen King, Ashley, because I came home after a 12-day work trip, and my 16-year-old informed me that I have been doing you a disservice as a friend. I've been a bad friend to you.
Me?
Yes, he and I were sitting there watching wrestling last night. We were watching WrestleMania
Oh,
as we record
we were
this.
also watching WrestleMania. Like,
I told him that. I said, "Hey, Ash and Brett are watching WrestleMania too." And he goes, "Who's her guys?" And I
oh,
said, "I don't know. I don't." He goes, "Oh, that's terrible. How do you not know your friends' guys? Who are your guys? Who are you down for in the WWE, Ash?"
okay, so I have weird guys. And it's Brett's fault
They're all weird
because
guys in the WWE. I don't know if you've noticed.
100%, 100%. I'm actually very into the women in the WWE because we're in a world where the women are so badass. And it's very, very fun to watch the ladies do their work. I really enjoy it.
Okay, the current women's division, I will just say quickly, is what like the luchador division or like the mid-card division was in the
Yes.
aggression era, or not the aggression era, in the attitude era. Like they the Triple H's of the world were main eventing,
Right.
right? But the great matches were in the mid-card, and they
Yep.
were all your middleweight wrestlers, your luchadors and otherwise. But like that's what the women's division is doing now. They're the real matches, while
They're
the big muscle bound
incredible.
guys come out and do the
Yeah.
storyline at the end.
And honestly, that last match was so fucking boring.
Yes,
Like I was like, this
I
is
was
so
disappointed.
long. And so many of those other matches went by so quick. I was like, God bless. Like, bleh. Yeah, no, I'm really into the ladies. I love Becky Lynch is fucking incredible. She's so
The man,
hilarious. What a
she's great.
wild character she's playing right now too. She's doing a heel arc right now where she's like very very kind of like MAGA coded, and it's bizarre, but it's really funny and ridiculous. And she's just so incredible to watch. I'm a huge fan of Flair of Ric Flair's daughter
Charlotte.
too. Charlotte,
Yeah.
yeah, Charlotte's incredible to watch. Um, uh, Alexa Bliss, like that was a really fun. That fatal four way was my favorite match last night. I had a blast watching that. And then I like a lot of the old guys, like and then Brett watches Brett watches these wrestlers play um Uno um together. It's called like what is it up? They're called the party,
Oh, all right.
and it's like up down down. I think is their like channel, and it's like four guys, and they're a little bit more obscure, but they're so fun, and I really like a couple of them don't wrestle anymore. Adam Cole is one of those
Yeah.
guys. And I really fell in love with like all four of those dudes just watching that. And I was like, these guys are so fun and hilarious. I'm a big fan of like I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, like and then of course like I'm old, so I loved, Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels, huge Shawn Michaels fan, Triple H, big Triple H fan. Yeah, so
All right. Well, now I know.
Now you know.
Now I can
I
tell him who
really
your
am
guys.
like very into. I'm actually my guys are the gals.
He's like, who's she follow? Who are her peeps? I'm like, I don't know, bud.
Actually
I'll
know.
have to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah,
All right. So
like
I asked.
my guys are the gals.
Listen, sometimes in a relationship, you have to listen. You have to listen.
You
have
do
to pay attention.
Ask
Anyway,
questions. Get curious. Get
there was some curiosity about San Francisco this week with our favorite vampires, Ashley.
Jesus Christ. I had forgotten the intensity of Armand in this episode. Like, he's fucking scary.
He really is something.
Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join.
Okay, so first of all, this is the first time during this rewatch that I have watched this episode away from Judah. Judah and I were separated because I was on the road for 12 days, but it was so much fun. He watched the episode and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I've seen it now. If you want to talk about it." I called him immediately. I was so excited to get his take on it. But he and I talked for like 25, 30 minutes about this episode. And then we talked for another 25, 30 minutes about like college and young adult life and like he's about to graduate and what a great kid he is. Anyway, walked away super impressed with my own progeny this week, Ashley.
Good job. Good job.
Generally, yeah, like we did okay.
You're
the
doing
kids
good,
are all
Joel.
right.
The kids are all right. And they're watching the vampires. This is what we dream of.
Exactly. All right. We are the Articulate Coven, the unofficial fan podcast for Anne Rice. We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Y'all, we love y'all so much. I've been on the road for 12 days. Ashley has shit to do today. And yet here we are, 9 a.m. in the morning, pulling one out for you.
Yo, real talk.
I'm
going
one
to
out
the
for
race.
You sounds dirty.
Well, it does. But we would pull it out for you consensually.
Consensually. You ask us. You really, really want us to pull one out for you. Anyway.
Pay us to pull one out for you.
Pay us to pull one out. That's a very good point.
Interesting.
Announcing our OnlyFans. I told you when the economy gets right. No.
No, we're not there
Where
yet.
are you going today, Ashley? Where are you going
I'm going to the racetrack, yo. I'm going to the horse races. I'm so excited.
So much fun.
Yeah, I'm going to Oaklawn racetrack, and I'm going to watch the ponies, and I'm going to have myself a nice day, have myself some Bloody Marys.
That's exactly what a Sunday afternoon is for.
It's a beautiful day here, too. It's fucking gorgeous.
Oh, let me tell you something. Not once, but twice this week, I got snowed on in Salt Lake, and I'm like, hey, it's late April, actually.
It's happening. Yeah, it's been crazy. They didn't get any proper snow in the winter, and they're having snow now. It's really quite strange this year.
Meanwhile, my buddy who lives in Illinois, he lives in northern Illinois, he told us this week that apparently Tornado Alley has shifted in our country. They had something like 45 tornadoes in this one little area, and most of them surrounding his daughter's college. So yeah, he
That's
literally
terrifying.
dodged tornadoes on the way to see her this past weekend. Not cool.
Not cool.
The climate done changed.
No, Arkansas does appreciate the break, frankly. We appreciate the tornado rest. It's like we just had the anniversary of like a few years ago, a huge tornado came through the fucking city in a very scary way and did a lot of bad damage. So yeah, we're ready. We're happy for a break. Sorry, Illinois. Sorry for you.
Judah, by the way, says this is his favorite episode so far, by far.
Oh, really?
Yes, he absolutely adored it. He had so many thoughts, and we're going to get to a lot of them. But we're going to run through this thing right from the top because this is an episode to discuss. First of all, I love this faux appearance that starts the episode, and I'd forgotten about it, honestly. I thought this episode went straight into the San Francisco of it all, and it doesn't. We get this layer of, we had figured it out, hadn't we? No, the fuck you hadn't, first of all. And we know that. Like, Daniel already knows that even. He knows the fire is coming. Like, they had figured out nothing.
Right.
And yet, they're putting on this veneer of, oh, it was all good. it's really brilliant that we get Louis happy in his relationship before it all goes to hell for him.
Oof. 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 This episode has so many layers to it of fuckery. All the layers of fuckery.
Daniel catches him and says, grab that. Grab what, Daniel?
Yep.
What are you talking about? It becomes the third person. Him stops being I or me. Circling something you want to distance yourself from. That's what Daniel calls attention to right here.
Yeah.
And it's like, Judah makes the point later when we get into the flashback. He's like, here's the thing. Even when Daniel was young and dumb, he was still really good at his job.
Yeah.
He drove that conversation and heard Louis' bullshit even through his drug haze. Daniel has always been a good journalist, is my point.
Yeah. Even when he didn't know yet. He didn't know he was going to be good at it yet. Or he's just doing like, I don't know, he's doing this little like project, it feels like is what he's doing. And a lot of it has to do with like probably meeting people and getting drugs, But yeah, he knows how to talk to people and he knows how to get people's story out and pay attention to language. And there's so many tells that we use when we speak or when we write, linguistic. There's a whole like field of study in forensics. It's like linguistic based, and that really started because of the Unabomber case. Like that became like a really interesting like way of analyzing behavior and analyzing truth in how we speak and write. It's really cool.
How often has Armand preserved a life? First of all, even before that, there's the great shift where Daniel lays it out. He's like, how long is your boyfriend's lunch? An hour, 2 at most. And he hesitates and he gears himself. I love his little shifting. Yeah.
Maybe we should.
Let's change it up.
Let's have this.
Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows the chance he's taking.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've talked about how Daniel realizes that he doesn't have anything to lose. He's dying already. So if these two just get mad and kill him, like what's the big deal, honestly?
He's not having a great time in life right now anyway.
Well, and one assumes probably there's some insurance policies in place. So like his children will be well taken care of or whatever, right? And so like he's like, this will be the best of all possible worlds, honestly, if this goes badly. But in this moment still, he has to like gin up the courage a little bit because he knows Louis might not buy it. He might not listen to me.
Yeah, he might not take this bait. We might not get to have this conversation. Like I'm asking
or Armand
him.
might rush in on us and just shut it all down anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like that realization, hey, the abusive spouse is out of the room. We have a chance for you to tell me what's really going on,
But how often has Armand spared a life is such a great fucking question. It's like, it's cutting, but it's also like, it's just so simple. He's like, we know he cleans up messes. Armand prides himself on that idea, right?
Yeah.
He hid all those bodies in Paris for Louis and Claudia, et cetera, et cetera. He's not saving some junkie to chance exposure for the two of them. That's never going to have happened.
Right.
And so Louis says the line, Armand preserves my happiness, even when I don't or can't. And Ashley, knowing the end of the episode, when Louis starts saying it, it was one of the most chilling things that Jacob Anderson has done on the show. Like knowing how Armand's going to say it at the end. I was so, and I could not wait to get Judah's reaction to it.
Yeah.
But even the first time that when he says it, he had a hunch you might prove fruitful in later times. It was like, oof. Okay. I love, and I'd sort of forgotten about, I love Daniel's confusion on whether or not they fucked.
Yeah.
Like, did we? So we didn't. We did. Okay. All right. And then Louis like, would you like to now?
Yeah. We can always make up for a little lost time,
Okay. Louis calls Daniel boy again and again and again and again. It's obviously a reference to the novel in that he only refers to him as the boy in the novel. Daniel doesn't get a name until Queen of the Damned.
It's so it's got this edge to it, though.
It's hurtful in a way.
It's not affectionate. It's like,
yeah, it's classist and I don't know. It's got more stank on it than when he calls Armand Arun, right?
Yeah.
Which also has some stank on it.
Oh.
Boy is less than Arun, though. Oh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Cocaine's a fun boy's drug. I'm not fun.
I'm not fun. That never have truer words been spoken, Louis de Pointe du Lac. I am not fun. Louis is not fun.
I will say this. I have had a few conversations over the last couple of weeks even. I had conversations with people about like drug history and some people coming up in the cocaine era, et cetera, whatever, which I didn't. I missed that really as a whole. But
yeah, same.
Even still, I have never understood the draw of stimulants for drug use.
Joel, I am really, really the same. Like, I do not.
Why would you want to think more and harder, Ashley?
Nope. I am much more of a downer gal. Let's get a little high. Now, I'm not gonna, like, if cocaine finds its way under my nose, I'm not gonna, like, be hateful, but like,
I'm not judging you. I just don't understand it.
I'm not finding it. I've never bought it. It's never been,
It just occurred to me here. Maybe I'm not a fun boy, actually.
Could be that. Could be neither of us are very much fun, to be honest. Maybe that's why we sit around and talk about fucking vampires at 9 a.m.
Oh my God. Okay, Louis has such a good line. Daniel's talking to him about how he makes his money. And Louis says, I like predicting what low-end product will flourish in time. Whoa. Okay, that is such a brilliant, first of all, that's a poetic way to describe speculation.
Yeah, right. Right, absolutely. Way to make that sound.
But it also sort of is what Armand has done here, right? He's like Louis when he finds him in Paris, Louis when he saves him in San Francisco from himself and then does all the other things that he does. He thinks, I could build something here. Let's don't throw this away. Let's don't let Louis burn himself up. I could mold this man into a man I could be pleased with.
Jesus Christ.
What low-end product will flourish in time? Okay, I love Daniel's jump to, fuck, man, are you the Zodiac killer? As soon as he sees the fangs.
Oh, so great. So great. Oh. Also, like, one of those cases that I was like, I've been so obsessed with the Zodiac for so long and so many years. I've read so many fucking Zodiac books. And that was just a lovely little nod to what was going on in San Francisco at that time.
I love Daniel's excitement for this story. Even once he realizes what it is, he settles himself almost immediately. He's like, fuck, I got an opportunity here to actually speak to a supernatural being. Let me
fucking vampire.
Let me unfold this,
Yeah.
And this is where Judah said, this episode confirms for me that Daniel is really good at his job. Even when he's stupid, he's leading things in the right direction. Okay. You were lonely, Louis. You weren't thrill-seeking. You were floundering. Tape after tape of emotional upchuck. And he's right. And we hear that. Louis, this interview is bad. This book would be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, it is so great that we get to listen to parts of it too.
Yes.
And we get to hear how he's speaking. And when Armand makes the accusation later, like, you wanted to say all these things because he'd read it eventually and be really pissed off that you lied and like, this is bait. This is fucking bait to get your old boyfriend back.
Okay, and I asked Judah about that. I said, what did you think about the snippets of the interview that we actually hear and see? and he mentioned the he played without an iota
Mhm.
of feeling. We both talked about the music comment from Louis about Lestat. It's like, okay, he's clearly trying to draw in Lestat
Yeah.
here. This was the entire point of this first interview.
Yeah.
He wanted Lestat to come rescue him from mundanity. He was
Mhm.
bored, and Armand was boring, and so he wanted
Suffocation by the world's softest, beigest
beige
pillow.
pillow. Yeah, exactly, man. And okay, Judah slightly disagreed. He says this episode makes Armand more interesting to him. He said,
Mm.
I have agreed, I would have agreed previously with Louis that Armand is a soft beige pillow. But the level of depravity, the level
Whew.
of violence from
Yeah.
Armand in this episode, the level of like cravenness, he goes, makes me ask all sorts of questions about him now in
Yeah.
a way that I didn't care so much about him before.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
mean,
if you didn't know Armand before this episode, if you didn't have book after book of like awareness of what Armand is and isn't, it is, this episode is definitely a twist on and a very, very big eye opener about there's way more to this character than what we've been given and what we've seen so far. For sure.
Judah had the revelation, or he thinks he did anyway, in
Mm.
this episode that Claudia dies. He got it about the same time Daniel did. Daniel says, I see where this is going. Give it to me. I won't waste it.
Yeah.
Okay. Judah said the same. He said, I heard the past tense.
Mhm.
Claudia's gone now. There's the reason they're not together. And I wonder exactly how that goes.
Yeah. Well, buckle up, Judah. Here it
I
comes.
know, right? I know.
Woo.
Okay. Daniel says, I'm going to ask a very loaded question. And then what? All your drugs went back into me. Probably why I can't remember. Is that why? So he turns out I had a copy in the cloud. I love Daniel backing up and pretending this is all fine. You're a liar, Daniel. You are too, whether you know it or not. Okay. The mixing of the audio tape playback and the video from the
My
flashback
God.
is so good. It's so good. And then it layers us right back into the full flashback in a way that makes perfect sense. And it makes the rest of this, as Louis and Daniel compare notes, so to speak, and piece their memory back together, the whole thing is congruous in a way that's like, oh, okay. It's like Hunt for Red October does a really good thing where they switch from Russian at the beginning and then everybody's speaking English, right?
Mhm.
Like the crew is speaking Russian and then there's like one word that is the same in English and everybody switches over. The 13th Warrior does the same thing, the Michael Crichton adaptation of
Wow.
the Eaters of the Dead, right? Like they're all speaking Norse, and as he learns it over the course of like 3 little montage scenes, they're all speaking English again and we can all understand them. This feels like what this moment is. It's like we're translating for you so that you can see they don't know this, but they do, and they're remembering it, and therefore
Right.
it's coming to us.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me question all of that is, and we've talked about this in our first watch, but I want to bring it up here again. If we follow that logic, then who heard Lestat's voice? How do we, the audience, see Lestat trying to tell Louis he loves him and Armand not passing it on? Where does that come from? Okay, here's Judah's thoughts on it. He said that he thinks Daniel hears that. He thinks that Daniel gets an echo through Armand, and that's where we're filling in the blanks.
Well, that's
Um,
interesting.
I think it's possible maybe that the echo is just coming through Armand because Armand's not Louis' maker, and so they're not blocked telepathically. I don't know. I also want to call attention though, and I think it is telling that Louis is saying no and stop and don't. He doesn't want to hear from Lestat. Sort of in that moment. I don't know. Like this is a super complex episode.
Oh my God, it is, and I love it. It's, oh God, the music is so brilliant in it too. Like, I
Oh,
just like this music and the sound, every bit of like the sound editing in it, the sound effects, the things that we hear but don't see. It's just, oh, it's really great.
Okay, the one that Judah particularly called attention to was the like single piano note, the sharp piano note that happens when people put things together. Happens like it happened several times previously when Daniel has the flashes of Armand torturing him. A girl told you you told a girl you would only do her if she put a paper bag over your head or whatever. And we hear that piano note a few times. Here we hear it though when it all clicks together for Louis, and then we hear it at the very end when Armand repeats the line that Louis had said previously, I preserve Louis's happiness, when he can't or won't. Anyway, that was he was like, the piano note. I was like, this means something. And then it finally comes together at the end, you know? There's a really good, there's a great back and forth when they start screaming at each other. Things got heated with a boy. Armand says Louis' triannual fuck off and find me. Okay. Louis is doing this regularly, this self-destructive cycle.
Yeah.
Does it tell us anything that his self-destruction with Lestat is to fall into disrepair alone, and his self-destruction with Armand is to try to be caught, maybe, or die in the sun, or
seeking dangerous companionship, seeking, there's been hundreds of these boys.
128, I think he says, or something like 128 boys he's brought here, and you're the first one he didn't consummate and drain. That makes you special. That warrants investigation. But I love though that Daniel's little interjection. He told me it was 5.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't realize how prolific he had been. My God.
But after Louis' triannual fuck off and find me line, Armand also says, we don't have enough to fear from Paris? ? What would they fear from Paris?
Yeah, what's the deal there? Who's mad? Who's mad there?
Okay, we do eventually get that somebody survives. We hear this later, right? But I do think it is interesting that that Armand at least is holding this over Louis. Maybe Armand doesn't really fear anything, but he is making
but he's
Louis
using
think
it as
that
a
there's
tool.
something
Yeah,
to fear.
absolutely.
Okay. Boring, colorless, flavorless, dull nights, dull weeks, dull months. Judah told Kelly, Dad and Evil Dad are fighting.
Yeah.
Is it the gremlin or the good nurse tonight? He references cutting off hands or licking boots, which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We get in season 1, we get, of course. In season 2, we get Lestat. The name not uttered in our home for over 23 years, said over and over again until it was pounding in my brain like a hammer.
Yeah.
It is funny though, and we said it before, as soon as Armand's alone with Daniel, what does he do? He tells a story about Lestat, doesn't he? Interesting.
Lestat's everyone's one that got away.
Right? Okay. Such a harsh line, and yet true. Louis says, I loved her, talking about Claudia, and Armand says, but she didn't love you. Not like he did, not like I have. And he's right. And we know that he's right. Claudia had affection for Louis, but Claudia had more angst and anger over Louis' part in her creation that would have always separated them. In 100 years and in 200 years, would they have found a peace like Louis and Lestat eventually find, like Lestat and Armand eventually find? Sure. Yeah, probably. But there was a fundamental break that needed to happen. She would have had to have left with Madeline, and they would have been apart for a long time.
But he never, again, he picked Lestat. He picked Armand. He never fucking picks Claudia.
You're right.
That's different. Right. It's a different situation. She might have loved him, truly loved him, if he ever picked her.
If he had. You're right. I think he
didn't love her the way he loved them. he felt a need to protect her and take care of her, but he did not love her the way he loved Lestat or the way he loves Armand, you know?
She was a tool for redemption. There's a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
boy. I think you're watching it too. If you all are not watching Daredevil Born Again, season 2 has been fantastic.
Oh,
But there's no spoilers, but there's a character that is seeking redemption in that. And boy, you're going about it all wrong. When your idea of good works is about saving yourself, Louis here, he's like, oh, I have to care for Claudia because that redeems what I did in creating her. That redeems what I did in burning down New Orleans with a race riot, et cetera, et
and
cetera.
it redeems what I did in keeping her
And killing-
there and
trying to kill Lestat, except all of
Yes.
this is made okay.
and at least makes
because
it
of my love
worth
for
it,
Claudia.
you know? Yeah.
Yes, but it's not, because you're using her. She's a tool. She's not a human being to you. Yeah, you're 100% right.
She's not a beloved. She's not his, like he would call, I guarantee you who my beloved Claudia, but he doesn't treat her like that.
Biggest surprise for Judah of this episode was the second door slam. What was that second door slam, Louis? Where does Armand follow you? He said, I did not expect this. I did not expect that to happen. And I told him, I said, okay, this was a surprise for us as well. In the novels, this does not happen in this course of time. Louis has an incident like this, but it's much later in the novels. And the fact that they put it in here is one of those things I think some book readers push against, because it's like, oh, you're changing things. I honestly like this sort of thing. It fits to the story that they're building, and it's true to the character based on later stories. And it's surprising for us as book readers because of how they weave it in, right?
Yeah.
It hits all the notes to me.
Yeah, because he also says, like, I mean, he is suicidal. He's been suicidal, you know, like that's been established. And Armand even says something about it, I think. Like even acknowledges it in the past in these conversations, you know, and that it's just
he thought about it that night that Claudia left New Orleans, or was trying to leave New Orleans, right? He sat on the bench and he thought, I could just meet the sun. They'd find me a pile of ashes and a cane here. So no, he's considered it before, never got near to acting on it really, but boy, goes overboard on this one. Okay.
Oof.
Judah and I also discussed that Louis is hearing Claudia's voice in this scene before he goes out into the sun. And that's, Judah says, this all but confirms for me that Claudia is dead. And I just said, I like your take on that, and I'm not going to tell you anything about what's coming. There we go. Pieces of my, Louis says he's starting to remember this now. Pieces of my life gone. I knew what I was without those pieces. And Daniel shuts him, skip the big picture. Let's get the story straight. Let's keep going. What actually happened
next? What happened
what
next?
happened next? You drained a drug fiend. You said the worst things you've ever said to me. And then you ran outside, and now you're a convalescent. This is Armand's, again, we said gremlin or the good nurse earlier. There ain't much good nurse in Armand, it seems like to me. He is
in
not,
this moment.
I mean, I have never been in a relationship with a drug user, but I know others who have. And I have often thought to myself, how in those moments when you are catching them in a crash, do you maintain your empathy, and how do you not become cruel when yet again here we are, I'm cleaning your vomit off the floor, you know, I'm wiping you down so I can put you in our fucking bed, et cetera, whatever, right? I'm not saying Armand is right. Armand is a callous fucker here. However, I do wonder how people do this. What is he getting out of the relationship? Honestly, at this point, why would you manipulate someone into 77 years of subservience when this is what you've got with the relationship
what you're getting
now?
out of it.
Yeah, man, I don't get it.
The level of unhappiness and dysfunction that they have forced themselves into with each other is just wild to me. And it is, you know, like so many of us do stay in bad relationships way longer than we should because of the, you know, number one, sometimes it's hard to break away. Number two, there's something about just the familiarity of it, even though it's chaos and even though it's like bad and unhealthy and hurtful, there's still, you're not alone. I'm not alone.
Boy.
Some fuckery.
It is some fuckery. Oh, speaking of fuckery, Judah was alarmed to learn that the body that we've been being teased with here, it wasn't some elaborate plot. They didn't torture somebody in front of Daniel. They didn't
No.
involve Daniel, make him complicit in a murder. He just happened to watch Louis burning up. And so
Yep.
this guy got tracked down and killed.
Yeah, I had to go deal
disappeared.
with your drama, Louis. I had to fucking deal with your drama, and now we've got a body in the room along with our intrepid reporter.
Young Daniel says, I'm good at getting angles, getting people to open up. Here's what's crazy. It almost works on Armand, even in his desperation to figure out why Louis would give a shit about this kid.
Yeah.
Armand tells him something. He says, my first memory, I'm being run down by slavers in Delhi. That's different than the story he told Louis in Paris. He says, my parents sold me to slavers. Okay. I want to mention here, I got to pull it up from our YouTube channel. I got an interesting comment about our discussion of the word Arun as his slave name. I referenced Louis calling him Arun as using his slave name. Now, honestly, it's sort of like what we talked about earlier with him calling Daniel boy. I think that Louis has built this sub-dom relationship thing. And so a lot of him calling Armand Arun, it's romantic and it's sexual. But let me try to find this. Let's see. Here's a quick one on a completely different note. Waterloo says, I feel a vampire would still sneeze if they get dust up their nose from backstage. That theater's not exactly clean. Okay, here it is. The Dream of Arcadia. Why does everyone say Arun is Armand's slave name? I genuinely don't understand. Armand said that he thinks Arun was the name his parents gave him. That wouldn't be a slave name then, right? It was supposedly the name he was born with. Amadeo and Armand would be more slave names than Arun is. Even with how messed up that bench scene was, I think Louis was actually trying to humanize Armand, even if it was to put himself in a more assumed position of power. Is it because that was the name he had when he was a slave? I think we could argue that he's always kind of been one this whole time. Okay, first of all, Arcadia, very, very good point. Armand has never lived truly free, even in this situation when he is manipulated. Oh, okay. Little flash forward to our Afterlife segment. There's a line from Castle Rock that says, "It's hard to tell which side of the bars you're on after a while." Okay, I think that's Armand's situation in Dubai, honestly. It's one of the reasons why I kind of buy into the theory that maybe Armand set this Daniel stuff up, implanted the idea of a second interview to blow up Dubai, just like he brought in Louis and arranged things in Paris to blow up the Coven there, just like he allowed Lestat to come in and blow up the Coven once upon a time under Paris. Armand is a passive actor in these crisis situations a lot of times. He lets things happen and then just cleans up the mess, or pretends to clean up the mess anyway. Why do we use so first of all, what do you think about that? Do you think of Arun as his slave name? I feel like Armand is the name that he has chosen. Yeah. Amadeo is what Marius called him. They called him Armand when they sent him to the Paris Coven, but he kept it afterwards, and he's never changed it since.
It definitely feels like he uses it as a cutting tool for, it is not a pet name. Oh. It does not have any sort of those vibes. And even if it's it's just like you came from nothing, you are still nothing is kind of how it feels. And I don't think of it necessarily as of it being like a reference to a slave name, but I think of it's like, this is who you still are. You are still Arun. You are still a victim.
The
of
little
your
boy being run down by slavers in Delhi. Yeah,
or whatever version of your story you told.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
But I think it's more about remember your place kind of a thing. Or, yeah.
What did Armand do to Daniel in those days of torturing and questioning? So modern day Daniel has has Parkinson's or something similar to it. He also seems to be dying. They don't come out and say it. I feel like it's cancer, though, right? He's got some form of cancer. He's getting infusions. You don't get infusions for Parkinson's, I don't believe.
Well, I know you do. You get infusions for things like MS, so you may get infusions for
But
Parkinson's.
that's a good point. I didn't think about it. So there's something to combat the degenerative nature of the disease.
But I do think, it is degenerative. And so he could be just getting at that point on his health journey where it is like becoming, very, very difficult to live the quality of life he would like to.
I wonder if Armand isn't some of the cause of his neurological destabilization, though. Holding him in this sitting position, he takes control of his mind and his body like again and again and again in a very casual way.
Yeah, and just flings him around. Like, it is very, very casually violent with him.
Okay, here's something that I know from my own father. Many members of my family believe that my father's dementia is because of his multiple concussions as a young man, which I didn't even know that he had. But I've got an uncle who's convinced my dad effectively had CTE, basically, from he rode the rodeo when he was young, and also he fell off roofs at different times too, because he was a carpenter, right? So like, anyway, the combination of that, he's like, yeah, your dad would have never gotten dementia if he hadn't had all the brain trauma when he was young. And I'm like, I didn't even know dad had brain trauma. But I'm saying, you slam me around a kitchen, you tell me to rest and fall into a wall a few times. You pick me up and drop me.
Yeah, the picking up and dropping, and then forcing him to like sit in a seated position without a chair.
Even the wall. I think about doing wall sits in high school, and it's like, oh man, at least I had the wall to like use my back muscles on too. Like, God bless. Okay.
It's treating him like a puppet. I mean, he's just puppeting his body around, and it's so, ooh.
I love when Danielle goes, no point, I guess, other than fuck your boyfriend.
Yeah, fuck that guy. What a dick. Yeah, I don't think I like him anymore.
I really like that Spiro Agnew is the reason why Danielle finally figures out how long he was there. Like, he puts dates together. He's like, I was there 3-4 days as your house guest. Okay. Armand knows that the book was bait, and he confronts Louis about it. Okay, Judah references, and I had not thought about it in this way. He says that this is almost like the reverse of Lestat having Antoinette saying, come to me. Louis is writing a shitty book, or hoping to write a shitty book about Lestat, so that Lestat will come and be like, bitch, I never.
I had to swim across the river to have this fight with you.
Also, Judah says, I'm sure there are several other times where Lestat did something very provocative to get Louis' attention. That's just the one we know about from the show.
We know. Yeah, exactly.
Boy, okay, it's a good line. You got to give Armand credit. He makes some good ones in this one. If you wanted to escape this prison of empathy I've locked you away in, all you had to do was ask, Louis. Okay, first of all, is it a prison of empathy? I think there's been manipulation already, right? Like, there's been manipulation since Paris.
Paris, yeah, we know there's been lies and manipulation since Paris. So, like, let's not. And Armand isn't doing anything out of empathy.
Would he have let Louis go if Louis had not been so passive aggressive about it with these triannual fuck offs and find me's? If Louis had just said, I'm going to New Orleans, actually, would he have let him go? My guess is actually no, because Armand has Lestat on the phone.
Right. Well,
and then he's like, nah.
You're still showing up on these, tri-yearly fuck-offs. So you're still coming back. And you guys are at this point where you're doing this to each other. It's a cycle. And imagine a cycle of a cycle of abuse in a human lifetime, how long that can last. And now you're fucking vampires. So you're in this cycle of fuckery for 70 fucking years, 40 years, however many we are.
Judah says to put his final stamp on the telepathic phone call with Lestat, and how do we get that information? He says one of the two of them, either Daniel or Louis, knows this information. That's how we get it as the audience. He says, if you think about it, that's how we get the bedroom scenes with Armand and Louis. Louis knows it, and Louis and Daniel compare notes eventually. So it's in the book, so it's in our show, right? That's his reasoning. And I think that's solid reasoning. I think that makes sense, because otherwise this is a very straightforward tale. We get these few scenes that don't seem to fit. Louis has those scenes though. So that's how we're getting it. In this case, either Louis or Daniel heard him is Judah's point. And I think it's a good one. I think that makes sense to me. I'll buy it anyway. Okay. Did Armand overwrite Louis' understanding of Lestat's murder attempt from season 1? I had not really considered this. Judah went back, though, to Daniel's insistence at the end of season 1. He's like, but where does the trash go, Louis? And Louis pretending like he didn't know that he let Lestat off the hook. Was that Louis? In my mind, that was just Louis sort of being called out by Daniel, and it wasn't Louis misremembering. It was Louis trying to color his own story. But did Armand rewrite that for him? Did Armand make Louis feel more guilty for? I mean, I don't know. We don't know how deep the manipulation goes, is my point.
Yeah,
and I had not really considered it.
We don't, and I've never considered it on that depth, because I think it has more to do with like Louis' own internal struggle with what he did and did not do for Claudia.
Was it raining, Louis?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many of those in season 1, right?
But
and it's like,
but a lot of that I don't think has anything to do with Armand. It has more to do with Louis' own.
It was like personal bias of making him the better protagonist.
I mean, we all tell our own version of every story we tell, and I guarantee you we probably paint ourselves in the best light possible. You know what I mean? And time does weird shit to our memories, and you do forget, especially if you've been lying to yourself for a long time about why you did something or how you did something. Then you're really being asked, but really, was that it? Was that why you did it? And then you have to kind of wrestle with those realities now in real time.
I've been calling to you for some time. This speech from Armand to Daniel, first of all, it's really lovely in its own way. It's beautiful and sweet, while also being fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I don't know, man. It's probably the best thing that Asad has done on the show so far.
Yeah. This episode, he is just on fucking fire this episode, and is up and down and exploring emotions and being out of control in a way we've never seen. You know, Rashid, the Armand in Dubai. It's very, very scary. It's so frightening.
I am the quiet you've been longing for. Okay, we said previously about Santiago that he is the call of the void, right? In the play, when he's doing the Grim Reaper thing, Judah even calls it out. He said, did Armand write the Grim Reaper role? Is the Grim Reaper role in the plays, is that just the way that Armand lives his life? I mentioned to him that there is a short story where Armand explains his method of killing. He finds those who wish to die, or those who long for death. And this is his deal. First of all, I just got giddy at the idea of getting to see him react to Antonio Banderas doing this in '94.
Oh my God.
He's going to like it so much. But this is Armand's greatest power. This is it. This is this ability to find desperation in someone and call it forward to the dominant emotion and feeling for that person. Which, when you put it in context of what he's done with Louis, it's like, oh, fuck. Okay. All right. An easeful death. It'll feel like a bath, like honey on your tongue. Rest. Okay, but Armand doesn't save Daniel from Louis. That's what he's been saying this whole time. He said it at the end of season 1. I won't save you again like I did in San Francisco. Armand didn't save Daniel from Louis. That's what it seemed like. Louis saves him from Armand. Louis saves Daniel from Armand here because Armand was cleaning up the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And Louis says, I need this one to live. I need this one to live. Are you asking, Maitre? No, Arun, I'm not asking. Okay. I love these words of life. Listen as though I'm the voice of God or an angel telling you this room doesn't matter, this night doesn't matter. You're not inconsequential or a junkie. You're a bright young reporter with a point of view. There are stories that need to be told. Okay. Daniel says that in his infomercial. Daniel says there are stories that need to be told. I love Daniel's realization. I never got so lost that I couldn't hold a job. He owes his survival to Louis. He wouldn't have made it. And honestly, we know that from the novel. Daniel does not survive that. Daniel's not attacked by Armand in that incident. He's not attacked. He is attacked by Louis, but he's not really left for dead. He made it out of the 94 or the 73 interview, but he didn't make it out with his sanity. He lost himself. And Armand toys with him, but whether Armand had ever gotten him or not, Daniel was going to die of AIDS or drug use or an overdose, or just, as you said earlier about Louis, keeping bad company, keeping unsafe company, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel was on a road to destruction, and this Daniel becomes an award-winning author and a well-respected journalist and a successful person in his career, even while his personal life continually falls apart.
Garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like a safety net that never let him hit rock bottom.
Armand redacted himself, which accounts for why I didn't remember him. And what accounts for why you didn't? Louis. Judah said,
my memory's a monster.
Yeah. To this extent. He literally cut it out of both of them to make this story fit what he wanted. So Judah had already surmised that somebody had screwed with Louis' memory in some way. He thought probably maybe it was just like a personal block from a trauma issue. He was already wondering maybe something happens to Claudia and Louis had cut it all out of his mind. No, he was very surprised by the level of change that this does. Okay, and here's Judah's biggest question from the episode. Armand spends a lot of this episode asking what makes Daniel interesting, right? Judah says,
"Oh God, he's so hateful."
What is it about Louis that drives these century-old vampires to insanity? Personally, this is Judah. Personally, I do not see it. If I was 600 years old, I don't know if I could call this guy Maitre. I'd like to amend that. Then he goes, I'd like to amend that. I'd like to amend that. He very specifically does not put Louis at his level. He realizes after talking through the manipulation. He goes, Armand very specifically does not put Louis at his level. He manipulates him so that he'll stay with him, keeps information from him, lies to him, etc. The sub-dom role is a fake. The sub-dom role that they're in is literally role play. Ashley, when you and I fight on stage, who is in charge of the violence?
The victim.
The one getting hit, exactly. Who's in charge in a sub-dom relationship? It's the sub. Armand is in charge, even as he has Louis call him Arun. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never I've never really, for me, like delved into like the sexual side of the subdom as far as it relates to our vampires. I know that that's been a really interesting like plot point for a lot of folks. It really hasn't really been one of the big ones
It's not a
for
world
me
that you and I
personally.
swim in.
No,
it's not a world that you and I
absolutely
spend in,
not.
so we don't think about it that much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's very interesting to get that perspective and then compare it to like what mine is without having that piece of it in there, because I feel like Armand's always been in control. You know, like I don't buy, if he is not in control, it's because he's let you think that you have some control.
They have this strange veneer on their
Yeah.
relationship that is
Yeah.
it's all a falsity. It's
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I mean, it is fake. It's all fake. It's all based on fake shit. Even like the emotions that are attached to it have been fucking forced and fabricated because of all the fucking lies and manipulation.
I told Judah when we got done chatting about all of that, I said, hey, no spoilers, but the bad news is we do not deal with the fallout next episode. Mostly we go back to Paris very heavily, bud. He's like, back to Paris. I'm like, I mean, some of it continues, but mostly we got to wait to figure out how this is all going to work itself out.
Yeah. Cause we only had 2 hours, you know?
It's such a good show. It's such a good show. I'm very excited to get to the end of this. I'm so excited that it continues to hit for him. And it makes me, he's a great example, I think, because it's like the general audience this show still has heights to reach, is my point. Netflix has helped, but we have not had our Breaking Bad moment. And I think this show can reach a much larger audience than we sometimes imagine it reaching. Because it is gay as hell. That's true. I mean, but like there are so many levels to this show, I think, that people can find. And also like Heated Rivalries is a good example. Heated Rivalries is gay as hell, and that show got big.
Yeah, absolutely.
That show got very mainstream.
And I think too, like you can watch this show and not really be that into horror or that into vampires even, you know. And I think that eventually, hopefully we can cross that gap a little bit, and we get people who are not normally like into this sort of thing that are like, hell, I'll watch it. Let's see what happens, you know.
All right, let's try it out.
We just got to convert more, you know. We got to, you know, nibble on our neighbor a little bit and get them to watch the show.
And nibble on our neighbor. There you go. That's going on a t-shirt. Folks, go to articulatecoven.com/events. Check out our Convergence events happening in Halloween 26 Halloween 26 and 27. We're going to be in New Orleans for Halloween. Super excited about that. Go to articulatecoven.com/join if you're not currently a patron, and you can get access to our Afterlife segments where we are wrapping up season 1 of Castle Rock tonight.
Yeah.
Was a good show too. That's a good show too. All right. Until next week, we have been your hosts. I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven.
Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.